the real excitement to come out of it, obviously, was a guy with no hype train whatsoever, a second-round pick, Jordan Walsh, who the Celtics traded down multiple times to get this guy, or at least, traded off picks and wound up with this guy. I don't think they were necessarily targeting him. Even Brad Stevens said at the time there were a handful of guys, sort of that we liked in that general range of picks, and he was one of them. It wasn't like, oh my God, we wanted Jordan Walsh. Well, people started reading about him and watching some of the videos, obviously, from previous play, and there was a little bit of excitement build. People were starting to get into the whole Marcus Smart light thing in terms of energy and effort and enthusiasm. But what people really were not banking on, the hype was the defense. People were not banking on the offense. And in his summer league debut, just to reach the stat line, 18 points on 6 of 11 shooting, but 4 of 6 from 3. And it's not like he was just lucking into these shots. He actually has a beautiful stroke. It was a beautiful shot out there. So even if they weren't going in, just the form is very good. 5 rebounds, couple of steals, had a block as well. Tied his career high at Arkansas, I guess, in terms of the 18 points. So again, not this prolific college scorer by any stretch, but a guy that, needless to say, again, it's summer league hype. Who the hell knows what the regular season will bring, other than I feel, and I guess, look, it was me, for the people biting back in the comments previous shows when I said I'm not even positive this guy is going to be on the roster. I saw him as more of a two-way guy that, would get time in Boston, but like J.D. Davison would spend a fair amount of time in Maine as well with those Celtics. I think for CBA reasons, roster reasons, and play, at least early on, seems like this is a guy who is going to be a full-time Celtic this coming year. And obviously he didn't get the two-way contract either. So, I expect to see him on Boston's roster and maybe even contributing to this rotation. Did he surprise you, what you saw in that first game?
Yeah, he did. Certainly if you look at what he showed at Arkansas, I think you could see the defense and the intensity, and that he was a guy who coaches like. I know his coach, Eric Musselman, pretty well, because Muss was a coach in the NBA for a while. And one thing that he said is that he did not get to show what he could do offensively. They had Anthony Black, they were a stacked team, so he did not get to do much offensively, but he certainly earned his spot on that Arkansas team. So and one thing Musselman said too is that he's a better shooter than he showed. He shot, I think it was 28% from the 3-point line at Arkansas, and didn't really get, because in the college game you play 30 games. If you have a slump for 4 or 5 games, that's it. Your number tanks in terms of your 3-point shooting. Everybody thinks you can't shoot, but he's a guy who's a much better 3-and-D prospect for the NBA. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do, and certainly I do think he has a spot in the roster, and will be a promising young guy that Joe Mazzulla won't play. So we got that. we got something to complain about next year. Is why isn't he getting any minutes? So Celtics fans have that to look forward to for sure.
Is it? Well, that depresses me right off the hop, but you're probably right. It's funny. I don't look at, maybe I should, but Joe, I feel like hasn't, for me anyway, he hasn't been around long enough to have that won't play the young guys reputation. He can really build into that, like Doc, he can really earn that over the course of time. Yeah, I guess there weren't even that many young guys last year that he could have played. Obviously, Grant's not a young guy, fell out of the rotation. Peyton really never got an opportunity, but I wouldn't call him a quote-unquote young guy anymore. He's been around. Right. So it's like the J.D. Davisons of the world or somebody like that.
The CLNS Media Network is powered by FanDuel. Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston and get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed.